he should be accomplishing something. PR 19. 15 for a person to prefer to sleep or to be inactive when he should be working is to choose a course that eventually leads to poverty. PR 6. 9-11. 10. 5. 24. 33, 34. Unlike men, Jehovah God does not become drowsy and require sleep. His servants, therefore, can rest assured that he can at all times supply needed help. PS 121. 3. For only when, for his own good reasons, he delays or refrains from taking action, as in relation to those professing to be his people, but proving to be unfaithful, is Jehovah likened to one who is asleep. PS 44. 23. 78. 65. Spiritual wakefulness. When encouraging Christians at Rome not to be asleep or inactive and insensible to their responsibilities, the Apostle Paul wrote, "It is already the hour for you to awake from sleep, for now our salvation is nearer than at the time when we became believers. The night is well along. The day has drawn near. Let us therefore put off the works belonging to darkness, and let us put on the weapons of the light. As in the daytime let us walk decently, not in revelries and drunken bouts, not in illicit intercourse and loose conduct, not in strife and jealousy." Row 13. 11-13. Compare F5. 6-14. 1th5. 6-8. Re 16. 15. Those who engage in wrong practices or advance false teachings are asleep as to righteousness and need to wake up if they are to gain God's approval. Death compared with sleep. There is evidence that people sleep in cycles. Each cycle is made up of a deep sleep followed by lighter sleep. During periods of deep sleep it is very difficult to awaken a person. He is completely unaware of his surroundings and the things that may be occurring about him. There is no textoi acute miritra longo, smoke 981. It should be noted that the term asleep is applied in the scriptures to those dying because of the death passed on from Adam. Those suffering the second death are not spoken of as asleep. Rather, they are shown to be completely annihilated, out of existence, burned up as by an unquenchable fire. Re 20. 14, 15. Compare Heb 10. 26-31, where a contrast is made between the death of those who violated the Mosaic law and the much more severe punishment meted out to Christians who turn to a willful practice of sin. Heb 6. 4-8. Sling. See arms, armor. Slinger. A person who hurls missiles from a sling. The sling was usually a relatively short strap that was doubled over and whirled around. From it a missile, such as a stone, was propelled at high speed by releasing one end of the strap. In early times, slingers of stones formed an important part of a military force. The tribe of Benjamin had 700 picked men, every one of whom was a slinger of stones to a hairbreadth and would not miss. JG 20. 15, 16. The Targums say that the Cherethites and the Peletites among David's warriors were adept slingers. Slingmen were an important part of King Uzziah's military force. 2ch 26. 13, 14. Sennacherib employed a corps of slingers in the Assyrian army, as monuments attest. The fighting forces of the Egyptians, Syrians, Persians, Sicilians, and others also had similar divisions. In the Roman army, slingers were among the auxilia. As late as the 1st century CE, Josephus relates that Jewish slingers pitted their skill against Roman forces. Jewish Antiquities, 17, 259x, 2. The Jewish War, 2, 422, 423 17, 5. IV, 14, 15I, 3. In ancient armies the slingers usually made up only one division of the foot soldiers. Archers, as a complement of the slingers, and a smaller number of spearmen completed the infantry. When called forward to begin an engagement or to stall an enemy advance, the slingers passed from the rear of the ranks through corridors among the soldiers. At other times they fired from behind, over the heads of the spearmen. Slingers were especially effective fighters when attacking walled cities. Their missiles, hurled from the ground, could pick the enemy off the walls or reach targets inside the city. 2 Chi 3. 25 When siege engines and assault towers were developed, slingers took advantage of the elevated positions their platforms afforded. An advantage of the slinger over the armor-clad swordsman or spearman was his effectiveness from a distance. It is claimed that their range of effectiveness was up to 122 meters, 400 feet with stones, and even farther with lead pellets. David's use of the sling. Much time and training was required to become a skilled and experienced slinger. Young shepherd boys attending and protecting flocks against beasts of prey developed the needed skill. The shepherd boy David felt much better equipped with his sling than with the heavy armor of Saul. But he doubtless would have been unable to stand before Goliath without faith in Jehovah and strength from him. The outcome of the fight depended, not on superiority of weapons or upon skill, but upon Jehovah, who supported David. As David called out to Goliath, "I am coming to you with the name of Jehovah of armies, whom you have taunted." And all this congregation will know that neither with sword nor with spear does Jehovah save, because to Jehovah belong